The United States military enacted World War II confronted an enormous danger. The coded messages sent by U.S. forces remained at high risk of Japanese decryption, since Tokyo had discovered all existing encryption methods applied by Allies forces. Forces without protected communication channels had their military operations revealed to adversary forces, which resulted in continuous threats against their soldiers. The U.S. Marine Corps turned to find an encryption system which would work quickly yet securely, as their main priority was to secure messages from Japanese decryption. A solution emerged through an unexpected source in the Navajo Nation. The structure of the Navajo language placed it at the top tier for linguistic complexity worldwide. Outside language experts could not decipher it, since it existed solely as an oral communication system known to Navajo speakers who had no written representation of this language. Navajo language possesses such complex linguistic features, along with distinctive tonal characteristics, that expert linguists struggled to decode it. The language structure suited perfectly with requirements for creating an impenetrable cipher. The Marine Corps selected 29 Navajo men in 1942 to participate in a classified assignment. At the military base in California, they received an impossible assignment to create a communication code using their language for combat message transmission. The recruits spent extended hours developing secure communication signals. At the same time, they made them accessible for fast transmission and difficult to read by enemy forces. For their code development, the recruits assigned distinct Navajo words to each military expression. Classifying military tools through Navajo terms occurred as turtle described tank, while tank equaled chedagahi, and hummingbird referred to fighter plane, along with bombs being called ayeshi. The code creators developed an alphabet based on phonetics for regular words and letters. To spell out the term America, Navajos chose wolachi, meaning ant, for the first letter, and na'asosi for mouse, followed by dze, which stands for elk. The code offered soldiers an opportunity to communicate unfamiliar terms by using Navajo words which would stay unreadable to outsiders. Memorization was key. Members of the code team mastered the code through memory because they did not maintain written records to avoid exposing their method to enemy forces. The training forced these individuals to handle urgent communication tasks without hesitation while under stressful conditions. The original group of Navajo Code Talkers started their missions on the Pacific Theater to verify their communication skills during actual combat operations. Their mission was completed under hostile fire, and they sent messages at record speed which surpassed previous communication methods. Strategy decoding procedures that earlier needed hours were finished within minutes using new methods. Their abilities successfully helped at the Guadalcanal battle. The Marines obtained quick delivery of coordinate information thanks to Code Talker transmissions. Their actions enabled timely aid to reach soldiers after they found themselves in imminent danger of losing the battle. More Navajo males joined the recruitment effort during progress of the war, making their coded communications vital for winning major battles. Iwo Jima faced the Code Talkers with the toughest challenge because its savage fight established Pacific Campaign supremacy for the U.S. forces. The 6 warrior Code Talkers maintained non-stop operations for 5 weeks, during which they sent more than 800 faultless messages. Through their faultless communication methods, the soldiers directed military forces and controlled aerial bombardments, as well as maintained immediate delivery of essential battlefield orders. The successful operation at Iwo Jima depended on the communication abilities of the Code Talkers, who avoided damaging delays and prevented extra forces from being killed. According to a Marine officer, their successful work enabled the Marines to capture Iwo Jima. The vital contribution of the Navajo Code Talkers during warfare came at the expense of many obstacles along the way. During combat operations, the Navajo soldiers defended alongside Marines, but Marines denied them full equality status. After the war, many Navajo soldiers discovered that American society still practiced racial discrimination and segregation against them. Their important work remained hidden from public knowledge for numerous years before officials would release it to the general public. The agreement of silence prevented them from sharing their code work secrets or discussing the number of people their efforts protected. The Navajo soldiers received official recognition for their wartime contribution for the first time during 1968, which marked more than 20 years of post-war history. War veterans took several steps to recognize the accomplishments of Navajo Code Talkers after the years of secrecy passed. Recognition began pouring in as they received the honors that correctly recognized their years of deserving respect. The original 29 Code Talkers received the Congressional Gold Medal in 2001 as the highest civilian distinction of the United States. The men who joined the program after its initiation received the Silver Medal as an award. President George W. Bush honored the Navajo Code Talkers by stating, "The Navajo Code Talkers are heroes whose contributions had been neglected too extensively at the medal presentation ceremony. Today, we right that wrong." The memory of the Navajo Code Talkers endures, even though most of them had already passed away before receiving national recognition. Among all the coded messages which have been created for war purposes, the Navajo Code stands solitary as the only one that proved invulnerable to decryption. The story about the Code Talkers reveals their exceptional courage combined with their genius and their ability to endure hardships. The impenetrable code which the Code Talkers developed served as a vital component for the Allied victory, along with influencing military communication throughout future years. Similarly, the most significant aspect of their narrative displays the forceful strength of cultural and linguistic skills. The military developed this language after years of suppression because it proved to be one of history's most dominant technologies of communication. Their bravery reminds us that sometimes the strongest weapons are not guns or bombs, but words